Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm her friend Melanie.
We are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is 2022, and when you hear it, it will be 2022.
Okay.
We are recording this in the past, and we have a great episode for you guys. Those of you who are in the conservative, I guess, but I meant to say pro-life world, you will know this amazing guest we have. You would have seen her amazing work, her talent, and I'm just really excited to have her. We have Angelique Clark from Life Dress
Hello,
on the show.
everyone.
Woo!
Thank you for having me. I'm so
Yay.
excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I known Angelique for a little bit over a year. Technically, we met online because my infamous, do I have it with me? No, I don't. My infamous pro-life mask was designed, hand painted by Angelique. And then I had her on Making It with Mal, which I'll have linked that episode. And then we met in real life a while ago.
Yes.
Not quite remembering when, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Isn't infamous a bad thing? Like
no, infamous is good.
I
right?
thought infamous is like for an evil person,
Correct.
or like murderer.
Yeah.
Like that's why they're famous. Like they're infamous for being a murderer. So you would say
Well,
the famous mask.
it would be infamous to like pro-abortion people, right?
Yes. Famous for the pro-lifers. Anyway, everybody knew what I meant.
We know what we mean. We know it.
Yeah. No, everybody knew what I meant. Okay. And but yeah, so that's how I know her. Melanie, how long have you known Angelique? Melanie's known Angelique for a hot second.
I think since 2018, right? Or was it 2017? I think 2018.
2018, I think. Yep.
Yes, Angelique and I met from humble beginnings with the William Wilberforce Fellowship through Students for Life.
Yes.
That's
Great
how we
times.
met back in the day in DC.
Wow.
Yep.
We've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
We've traveled the
Actively
world
friends.
together. Literally, like we've
Yeah, we
actually
have.
traveled the world together.
Yep.
Into Australia and Uganda, and only God knows what's next.
Amen. Amen. So yeah, so we are super excited to have her on today. And I guess we can just get started with tell us a little bit about what Life Dress is and why you started it.
Okay. So Life Dress is a hand-painted pro-life apparel line where the goal is to start conversations with pro-life apparel, unique pro-life apparel that people don't ordinarily come across, and just to start conversations about abortion, to get people to think about what abortion truly is, the greatest human rights injustice of our time, and to hopefully make a change in their hearts and minds so that we can ultimately abolish abortion in our lifetime. And I started Life Dress in 2018, like the end of 2018. I painted a dress for a pro-life pregnancy center gala, and it was inspired by Joy Villa's pro-life dress she wore to the Grammys. And ever since then, I just kind of had this back of mind thought process of like, why am I just wearing plain dresses to these events when I could be wearing something with a message, something that, you know, represents what I stand for? It was kind of like a why not type of thing. So I painted another one for a Students for Life gala in Denver, and it kind of just snowballed from there. Kristen Hawkins from Students for Life of America was interested in getting a dress, so I painted her one for a New York City gala. People were interested in the idea, and I just kind of launched it from there because people were interested in having these pro-life dresses. So since that time, over 2 years ago, I've started creating other items like t-shirts now, men's ties, skirts, t-shirts, yeah, everything you can imagine, hats, scrunchies, anything that you can wear and have a message displayed as you go about your daily life or wherever you happen to be. That's always a great opportunity to talk about this issue.
It's true, y'all. Angelique even painted my roller skates.
Very true. Yep.
And I've
Yeah.
gotten compliments when I go to the rink.
That's awesome.
She can
Yeah,
paint
Melanie is
anything
one of my
that's
biggest
paintable.
supporters. Yes, paintable. Mm-hmm.
I'll have to post a picture. They look really cool. When Melanie posted them, I was like, oh my goodness, I wish I skated. I have mine painted, but I don't skate. So
Aw.
yeah.
Paint normal shoes without the wheels, you know.
Ooh, sorry, I was supposed to mute. Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
Anyway, yeah, so I forgot what I was gonna ask. Melanie, do you have a question?
Yes. So do you have a favorite piece that you've done so far? Something that stuck out to you that you're like, I really liked painting that and I want to make more of that?
Um, I feel like there's so many different designs in terms of like the messages. So I would probably go with maybe the one that I painted for the New York City gala that I went to, the I Heart, uh, the New York. It was basically based off of the I Heart New York logo, but
Okay.
it was I Heart fighting infanticide because at the time, you know, there was a lot of issues happening about
Oh,
legalizing infanticide in New York City at the time, and so I wanted to create a message that was directly in opposition to that, and so I used like the I Heart New York symbol for that. So I feel like that was a design that um, I kind of liked the outcome with, and people stopped me like while I was walking through New York City, and we had a lot of good conversations come out of it. So pretty
really?
much, yeah, those designs that like actually capture people's attention and like make people stop and think, those are always going to be the designs that I want to repeat, and those are the ones I
Mm,
like the best. So
So have
yeah.
you always been an artsy person?
yeah, I think I would say I've always been creative. What's weird is I've actually not always been a painter though, even though now I like paint every day. I used to hate painting when I was younger. I
Wow.
was more of like just drawing and eventually graphic design. But um, I got into painting with Life Dress and with a random job that I got a couple years ago, and now I love painting. So, but yeah, I've always been creative. I always like to express myself with art. So I
I
just think
love
art has
that.
is a lot of power.
Yeah. Amen. That's good. So my next question is, what made you want to do the pro-life? Like, why are you pro-life? Why are you involved in the movement?
Why am I pro-life? Well, I found out what abortion was truly when I was I mean, I knew what abortion was in like the kind of abstract, like we're against abortion because it's wrong, but I didn't know like the details of it until I feel like I was um, in the beginning of high school. I did a lot of research on abortion, realized that it was, you know, the greatest human rights injustice of our time. It was actively hurting women, killing children. And so that's when I went from just being pro life to being a pro life activist, I would say.
Hmm.
And so that was kind of the start of my activism journey, I guess you could say. Try to start a pro life club, and then got in connection with Students for Life through that. And so ever since then, I've just wanted to knew that my life should be dedicated to preserving life at every stage from conception to natural death. And that's pretty much what I've been doing, and I plan to continue doing until the day I die.
I gotta jump in here because Angelique just shortchanged herself because Angelique didn't just start up a pro-life club at her high school. Home girl sued her high school because the high school was not going to let her start the club. And
Yep.
before she even knew that Students for Life existed, she was Googling, she was finding out like, what are my rights? What can I do? And then through that journey, got connected with Students for Life and their lawyers. And this story like blew up in Las Vegas, where she's from, her high school, and people knew this chick. Like people knew, don't mess with her. So, and
Thank you,
then
Melanie. Yes.
and then the story had a happy ending, right? Like you were able to start the club.
Yep. Yeah, we had to file the lawsuit eventually after like a whole year of kind of like the media battle. And then it's 3 days after the lawsuit was filed that they're like, oh, yeah, you do have constitutional rights. Our bad. Yeah, you can have the club. Sure. So, yes,
That's such
it
an
was a wild
epic
ride.
beginning, like
I
jump
know.
into the pro-life movement. You're like on the diving board and then you like dove in.
Yeah, it was crazy for sure. Yeah.
So tell us about the media aspect of it. When you decided you were going to sue your school, how did the media act? How did that feel? What did your friends say?
Yeah. Well, so the first thing first was that we didn't go into it with like the lawsuit mindset. It wasn't like, oh, like you don't want me to have a club, we're gonna sue you. It was like demand letters. It was, pleading with them, like trying to reason with them. I had a ton of meetings with my administration about it and wrote letters and stuff, just saying like these are my rights. Please respect them. Otherwise, we may have to go on to further legal action. So that's what took up most of the time of this like year plus situation where it was really um, the media battle was up until that lawsuit. And so it was pretty much once I got connected with Students for Life, they connected me with the like public relations aspect of it. We're able to send out press releases that this situation was happening, and pretty soon news outlets were picking up the story. So it was like local stations. I was on like a radio, like local radio, and eventually like Fox and Friends, things like that. So
Oh,
it really kind of like snowballed again. Just went from something small and like, oh, this isn't gonna matter, to all of a sudden it's thousands and thousands of hate comments online, and
Oh my goodness.
people talking about it. And so when I look back on it, I really see it as a blessing in disguise type of thing, because had they said yes and just kind of like censored me quietly, but still said yes and approved it, then I wouldn't have had that opportunity, to actually present this to a huge audience nationally and even internationally in some cases. So yeah, it just got the conversation started. Both the conversation of what abortion is and why someone wants to fight it and why this matters, but also the fact that students have rights and students' rights should be respected and protected. And so that was what happened as far as the media goes. So I was kind of thrown into this like this front and center, like, here now you have to like look into a camera in the East Coast at 3 a.m. so you can be on like live television and here's some talking points. I don't know, like you're like 17, and so it was crazy. But it definitely changed my life 100%. That's what got me interested in the media overall, and that's what eventually led me to choosing journalism as my degree path in college.
Wow.
So
Isn't
yeah,
it
just
so
seeing.
amazing how like things are just so interconnected and
Yes,
dominoes, and how,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
God just ordains things like homegirl's not gonna get her club right away. It's gonna suck, but she got to trust me and it's
Yes,
gonna work out in the end.
Yeah, you
exactly.
can really see God's sovereign hand on your life and the way everything has gone, like through the ups and the downs. Quick question. If
Mhm.
someone is trying to get a student for life or pro life school club on their school, what advice do you have for them?
My advice would be to never give up, because there were so many different times throughout like the process of getting this started and everything where it would have been the easier choice to just be like, oh, they said no, okay, or oh, this is hate comments, tons of hate comments, I'm getting bullied on campus, the teachers hate me, whatever. Oh, maybe I could just stop doing this, and make my life easier. But it's
Yeah.
not always the best option to choose the easiest option. Sometimes the
Mhm.
harder path is the path that God puts before you, because ultimately the truth is at the other side of it. And in order to get to the truth, to expose the truth for the greater good, you have to put yourself through, you know, the the hard stuff, the hard part. Whether that's persecution, or it's just, having to just to deal with just every obstacle that you could possibly imagine being put in front of you. So ultimately, the advice is don't give up. that you're doing the right thing. The truth will prevail as long as you keep fighting for it. And yeah, always use your voice.
Yeah, I think too, to add to that, is that your sanctity is also like on the other side of that, that God is sanctifying you through the hard times, through the persecution, through, the no's, that
Absolutely.
somehow God's going to use that for his glory, even though it's hard in the moment.
Yeah, amen, amen. Another thing, switching gears a little bit, I love, you're a great example of how anyone can be involved in the pro-life movement. Anyone. I know that sometimes I'll get messages from girls on my Instagram who say that they really don't like public speaking. I personally cannot relate to that. Love talking, love public speaking, but some people don't. Some people have other talents and they don't know how they can fit in the pro-life movement. Is there any advice or anything you want to talk about that? Like I said, your stuff is, I have the mask, Kristen's worn the dress, like you are iconic if we're being honest. Like everybody knows. Yeah, like she's super humble, y'all. Like sweetest person you'll ever meet, super humble. But seriously, like people know who Angelique is. Life dress is a thing. Like it's not like when you said that, people are like, oh, what? Oh yeah, life dress. So like, can you just talk a little bit about how you don't have to be a public speaker, you don't have to be a social media analyst to be involved in pro-life movement?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you. I appreciate that. But I would say that try to find what you're passionate about, maybe separate from the pro-life movement. Like look at your skills or what you love to do, just like the gifts that God gives you, just things that you are passionate about, and see how you can combine that with spreading the message of the pro-life movement. That's pretty much what I did with like graphic design and art and all the things that I'm interested in doing, and just combining that with my passion for human rights justice. So yeah, there's really no one who isn't equipped or isn't called to speak about this. You just have a different calling in terms of how you're going to share the message. So like you said, some people are going to be the people in the front stage, and some people are going to be in the back doing the lights. Like we need everybody in order to make this happen. So everyone has a place in the pro-life movement, and it's just about finding where that is for you according to your passions. But everyone has a place for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I want to add to that of like, just like an example could be, maybe you don't feel comfortable being the person talking to men and women at the sidewalk, but you can be the person praying silently on your knees. Or maybe you don't have money that you can donate to your local pregnancy center, but maybe you're wanting to get rid of old clothes and toys, and you can go donate to that local pregnancy center. Just some ideas of how it can be both and or either or, depending on who you are, your temperament. So
exactly.
And
yep.
I want to add to that. I've said this to Melanie before, and she's had to remind me of this. But also, too, we also have to remember our audience is not going to look like everybody's audience. God has set a specific people for you, and you talk to them. So who you reach might not be who Mary Sue and Lilibeth, those are random people, reach. It just might be, it might be different. So as long as you're doing what I love, Angelique said, your passions outside of the pro-life movement, as long as you're doing what God has called you to do, because I'll be honest, I am not a medical person. I find blood disgusting, no offense. I hate hospitals. If I ever had to sleep over in one, they would have to sedate me because I just hate it. I absolutely hate it. So that is not my calling. I cannot be a medical missionary, but I do enjoy talking. I do enjoy doing the podcast, things like this. This is where God has called me. And it's best if you do what God has called you to do and not go and try to do what Mary Sue and Lilibeth are doing. It's what God has specifically called you to do.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Very true.
there was something else I wanted to add. Melanie, say kind of what you said earlier.
What?
Kind of repeat some of what you said a minute
Well,
ago.
I was just giving examples of how, like, you don't have to be the person having the
I remember now.
conversation, but you can be the person, praying silently. That was just an example.
Perfect. I remember now. So ideally, Roe v. Wade will be overturned in this year, 2022, when you're listening to this, which means now more than ever, our job is really important. Our job of helping the pregnancy resource centers, our job of changing culture, our job of encouraging our friends and family, our job of speaking up. You hear Mary Sue again, you hear her saying she's pregnant and she's scared. It's our job as pro-lifers. Hey, Mary Sue, let's go to the pregnancy resource center down the street. Or Mary Sue, let's go speak with your pastor or your priest. Or let's speak with that really sweet old lady at our church that would love to help you. There's so many, 2022, we really have to turn it up a notch. This is going to be when we specifically pregnancy resource centers to you guys. I really hope maybe we'll do a couple episodes on that just in general. We really have to be helping and working with our pregnancy resource centers, and we have to be talking about them. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a quick tangent, everyone. We have to also be talking about them. I was on James Dunn's podcast, the Done Right podcast. I encourage you to listen to it. And he told me he did not know what pregnancy resource centers were until I started talking about them. And this guy has been conservative his whole life. What does that tell you? It tells no. What does that tell you? It tells you that we are not speaking loud enough. We are not talking enough about it. So we really, 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 he knows what they are now. We really, really need to do our job in talking about them. Maybe you don't have the time to donate money, but I'm sure you have the time to donate your time. I mean, we all have time. It's just a matter of how we choose to use it. But this is when it's important. This is 2022. A lot is going to happen this year when you're listening to it. And this is our time to really try to dig in, figure out what our role is going to be. Like I said, you don't have to be the big name. You don't have to be the picture on the sign for the National Pro-Life Summit. You don't have to be that. You can do what you need to do, what God has called you to do. And that's just my quick tangent, everyone. Back to Angelique.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Oh my God.
Well, it's definitely true, Mallory, because I remember for a while, Students for Life was really kind of pushing this campaign of a post-Roe America, like a plan for post-Roe and what that would look like. And what that could look like is creating family-friendly work environments, family-friendly campus environments, adoption reform, foster care reform, more pregnancy resource centers, more funding towards that. So there definitely is work to be done, even in that, post-Roe world, whatever that's going to look like. And even then, even when, I guess we can start saying just when Roe v. Wade is reversed and or changed, anyways, the power is going to go back to the states of abortion legalities. So then it's going to be individual state battles. Here in the great country of Texas, we have a trigger law. And so we, to the extent that Roe v. Wade is changed or reversed, it will make it so that abortion is automatically completely abolished in Texas. So depending on where you are, there are some states that have those trigger bills written into law and they will take effect. So it's definitely exciting. And I definitely encourage you to do a quick Google and find out if your state has a trigger bill, trigger law in the books, because your state will be living in that post-Roe America. We'll be living in an abortion-free state. And so not that your pro-life work will be done or over. You can take off your hat, take off your coat, and say, good day, everyone. It was great. We can all go home. Every rest is good. You need to rest. But that the work will look different. It'll change. Like our methods will change. Will there be a need to be out on the sidewalk? I don't know. I'm not there. we're not in that future. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I don't know. But I know that I'll still be needed, that there will only still be more, I think, unplanned pregnancies happening. There's gonna be a lot more babies. So we gotta, get ready for that. So definitely do a quick Google and yeah, mentally prepare for that, what that's going to look like and how you can help. Life dress ain't going nowhere. You can, wear some life dress gear in that post-road
True.
society.
Donate to Life Dress as well. We'll get to that in a little bit. To what you said, I looked it up. Everywhere in North Carolina. North Carolina is not one of the 12 states. South Carolina is. So that's I didn't know about the trigger laws. We'll have to, do a post about that maybe just to inform people. But there's 12 states that have trigger laws. And North Carolina is not one of them. Disappointed, but not surprised. But yeah, you made a very good point about it going back into the states, which once again, we'll have to do an episode on that. Maybe we'll just do like 10 YouTube videos talking about abortion for like references. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud
We could do a whole video about what is your dream post abortion free society. Like, what does that look like?
That's a good idea.
Ooh, that would be good. We should do a video. We can have Angelique come back for that one too. And we can talk about like what ideally that would look like. But yeah, so it will go back into the states. So like Melanie said, I'm sure we've said this before in other episodes, our job is not going to be done. So don't think that you don't have to do anything else after that. We still keep going because at the end of the day, we're here for women and their children, not just the law. Because we're not just like, yeah, I'll have the baby. Obviously, we want them to have the baby, but like that's not what it's all about. At least not here on this podcast. We are pro-woman.
Yeah.
Feminine, not feminist.
Yeah, you gotta change the culture too, not just the law.
Say that again?
Gotta change the culture and the law. I can't just do one or the other.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that kind of takes me back to life dress again. That I think is super important, changing the culture and the law. We always say we want to make abortion illegal and unthinkable. And one of the ways is through fashion. So tell us a little bit of how running a pro-life business is going, like how ups and downs. Tell us about it.
Well, it's been a blessing that I've actually had very consistent business throughout the time I've had Life Dress. There's always someone who's interested in having something painted or buying something that's already pre-made from the shop. So that's been amazing. Just building, a network of pro-life activists who are interested in sharing the message through what they wear. There's always going to be business for that, always for life. So that's encouraging. And just knowing that for every item sold that could potentially reach somebody who is for abortion and could change their mind, it's really powerful to me. But in terms of just running the business and having that kind of future forethought to where it's going to head, I definitely have a lot of plans for the future of Life Dress. Currently I'm working on a multi-state tour for Life Dress that's going to happen probably in February or sometime in the spring of 2022. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big deal. It's actually going to start at the March for Life. So it's going to be the Expo and the Students for Life America Summit. And so we'll be launching a bunch of new products and always one of a kind, of course, hand painted one of a kind at the March for Life Expo and Summit. So if you're going to be in DC during that time, that's going to be that first tour stop. And then the next ones are still being planned and they'll be announced when those are sealed, the deal, But
that is so exciting. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to have it get bigger and more people to be aware of it, just so we can spread the message as far as wide as possible.
Are you throwing it back to your Rock for Life days and you're going to be traveling in a van?
That's kind of the long-term dream, definitely. yeah, what Melanie's talking about is Rock for Life. I did a tour with Rock for Life back when Rock for Life existed. Now it's kind of Students for Life, but yeah, we did Christian music festivals. True, tears. Christian music festivals. We would sell pro-life merchandise there, and that was when I was like 18, and I always said to myself, like, someday I'm gonna have my own pro-life apparel line and do like something similar to this and sell at festivals or events. And so now, the dream is manifesting. The dream is coming true.
I love this. Oh,
By
this
God's
is
will.
Oh my goodness.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, super excited about it. Yep.
Once
So
again,
hopefully, probably will be some in like the West Coast and maybe the East Coast as well, as far as like the spring tour goes. But like I said, they'll be posted in like on Life Dress, ORG, Instagram, wherever, all that stuff.
Are you gonna make like a map and put the dots?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
I
Yeah.
love this. This is great.
Thank
You
you.
know, I'm gonna say it, and if this is something you want to do, I hope it happens. Winter Jam. You should get contacted with Winter Jam.
I looked into that. I was looking into different Christian music festivals. And yeah, it's just a matter of like the timing and everything. I don't know, when was winter? Did it already happen, Winter Jam?
Winter Jam is coming to Charlotte February 6th, I think. So it's still going on.
Okay, cool. I will
Yeah.
definitely do it, see if I can add it and be a vendor.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I have no idea how that would work. I don't even have a contact for you. I just felt like I should say it, just to
you.
put it out there for
I
you.
appreciate it.
So if anybody that's connected to Winter Jam is listening by some random off chance, please connect with Angelique.
Yes.
That would
Or
be great.
or anyone who's listening, if you have like any festival in your area or any kind of like big event contact information, anything like that that you think Life Dress would be a good fit for as a vendor, let me know, because I'm trying to build my tour list right now and figure out which stops to go to and things like that.
When we get off, I also have an idea. Just remind me, I have an idea of a possible event that I think you'd
Cool.
be good
I
with.
will. Thank you.
Yeah, this is so exciting. I love this. I love, I guess we should wrap it up soon. I just think it is so important for everyone to be walking in their calling. I think sometimes we get caught up in everything around us. We get caught up in X, Y, and Z, trying to be other people. We get caught up in the news. We get caught up in just so many things. But if we're walking in our calling, there will be ups and downs. Because like Angelique said at the beginning, it was probably super difficult to be known as a pro-life girl on your high school campus. And it wasn't a Christian school, right? Or it was?
No, it's just a public school. Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Yeah, public school. Oof, scary.
Yeah.
Mallory's like, my pronouns are she because I couldn't be her. Wait, what? No, I said it right.
Yeah, you said it right. You said it right. Yeah,
funny.
like I can't.
Good.
I can't imagine being known as a pro-life girl at a public school, like how difficult that was. But as you can see, God pulled her out, and now things are it's different, it's better. I'm sure there's going to be ups and downs in this journey still, because that's just how life is. No matter how much we want to just have the straight path of everything works out, no problems, no problems. There's always going to be something, but as long as we're walking with God, as long as we're walking with God, then there's nothing for you to fear because you have God on your side. So I just think that if we just all are in our purpose, we're all doing what God has called us to do, not worrying about what's on the left, what's on the right, just amazing things can happen. We can see how God's hand can help, how we can help other people, because that's the other thing too. Like, our lives are meant to be for other people in the sense of you're helping other people. Our lives are meant to show God's hand and how he can use us to help someone else. So I just think this is great. Love Life Dress. Melanie, do you have anything? And then I'm gonna ask her our big last question.
Yeah, our lives, our bodies, our are meant to be used to be the face, the hands, the feet, the voice, of Christ. And how I use my hands for Christ is definitely different from how Angelique uses her hands for Christ, but it's all good. And so, yeah, I just definitely want to reaffirm the message of use whatever talents that God has given you to help in this mission to save lives and help women and glorify God.
Amen.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Angelique, last question. We started doing this with our guests. If every single girl in the entire world was looking at you right now and said, help me, I need advice, what would you tell them? It could be about anything.
Okay.
No pressure, but it's every single girl that's ever existed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no biggie. Not big deal. Okay. I would say that if you ever feel like you don't have supporters, you don't have friends, you don't have people who really know who you are, whether it's your family or your friends or whoever, that you will always have a best friend in Jesus Christ. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all you need to fall back on. So whenever you feel alone, or you feel like you're misunderstood, or you feel like you're not sure where you're headed, or you just don't feel like you're being fulfilled by the people or the choices that you're making, remember that you have Christ to lean on, because he's always there for you.
Beautiful.
That's what I would tell them.
Beautiful. I
think
love
it's the
that.
best advice.
That's a perfect message. Yeah, and that's a perfect message for just this time of the year. Sometimes people are feeling extra lonely, but we have Jesus.
I thought of a question. It's kind of a funny, quirky one. I don't know. I'm wanting to know is has anyone from high school like seen you now? Like, I don't know, reached out to you or said like, hey, I remember back when you sued our school and wow, girl, like how's it going? What's this life dress thing about? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have had a couple situations like that. I mean, I do still have a decent amount of like people, acquaintances from high school that still follow like my Instagram, and I'll post stuff
Really?
about. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely lost like a majority of my followers over the years. Every time I post something pro-life, the numbers go down a little bit. But I still have a decent amount of, some high school people who I know for a fact are not pro-life, so that's kind of cool.
Oh.
But yeah, I've had a couple times where someone was like reached out. They're just like, "Oh wow, like you're still doing that, huh?"
You're
Like,
still at
oh,
it.
like
She
okay,
really wasn't joking. It wasn't a phase.
exactly. Yeah, so
I'd
it's
be
pretty
like,
funny.
yeah, and then here's my website.
Yep. Yeah, here's my shop. Bye. Thank you so much. Yeah. So sometimes supportive, sometimes not, but some people are still aware that I'm still doing the thing. So that's cool. Yeah. Thank you for
I
the
think
question.
I think we won't really know the full effect we have had on a lot of people in our lives until we get to heaven. When we see that, Mary Sue again has been bullying us or has commented only comments when she's mad at you. When you guys get to heaven, and you don't hear from her for like 20 years, then you get to heaven and you see she's up there too, and it's like, well, what happened? And Mary says, well, you know what? I found Jesus and I realized that, and I was pregnant and I thought about all those annoying posts you post, but you know what? I was like, I guess I'll keep the baby. And then I lived this beautiful life following Christ. I mean, we really won't know the effect we have until we get to heaven. Hopefully one day you'll hear from people on earth, because I know for me that always makes me feel a lot better. Like when random people are like one person told me, she was like, I just want you to know that I wasn't 100% pro-life until I started following you. Like that literally made my rest of my year. Like that was that. Like, thank you. I feel like not validated, but I feel like I'm not just falling on deaf ears. Because, after a while, sometimes it does start to feel like you're doing all this stuff and you really are trying to help. You have good intentions, but sometimes you don't see the fruit of your efforts until way later. And I think that that's just another thing. We just have to remember that our fruit might not be until later.
Yeah. Our reward will be great in heaven.
Amen.
Yes.
Well, all right, Angelique, tell us. Oh, first you're going to be at the expo, and the March for Life. Everyone, if you don't have a group to go with, please reach. Sorry, y'all. If you don't have a group to go with, please reach out to me. You can come with us. When I say us, I mean the rest of us who are going independently. Melanie, you're going independently, right?
Yeah.
Angelique, are you going independently?
Half independent, half with Students for Life. So just a little bit of both.
Okay, well, if you are anybody going independently, come join us. You don't have to be by yourself. When it gets close to the date, I'll make a group chat and we'll meet up at the morning and walk together, and then maybe get dinner together. If they'll let us in, those of us that aren't vaccinated. Anyways, a whole nother episode. But
For real.
Don't feel as if you have to go by yourself, or if you're nervous about going, you've never been before, but you really want to go, you are more than welcome to join us. Those are the girls. Part of the purpose is for us other girls to never feel alone, because you have sisters, you have fellow sisters, sisters in Christ that you can do things with. And let's also make sure we visit Angelique's booth. I think that this is seriously, like, what she's doing is great and amazing. All of her stuff is really cute and it's handmade, and it's all for a good purpose. We give our money to, like, this is from Loft, I think, and realistically, like, I could give money to businesses and or small businesses and that support what I support. I haven't looked into Loft. If you know what Loft supports, don't tell me. I really don't want to hear it. So, like, but what you can do is start giving your money to people and businesses that you support. Also, too, tell us where to find you on social media.
Yeah, on social media.
Unless you
Let me
really
give you
have
my
your
address. So you can get in touch with Life Dress on Instagram at lifedressorg, like organization, and then my website is lifedress.org, and I'm also on like Facebook, TikTok. I don't have Twitter or Snapchat or whatever the other things kids are on these days. but yeah, that's where you can find me.
Perfect. Now, Melanie raised her hand. I'm not quite sure why. But yes,
Angelique, I just remembered. Can you tell us about your trifecta with Life Dress? That everything is also thrifted, antiqued?
Yes. So
and why that matters.
Yeah. So part of the mission of Life Dress is to raise awareness about the industry of fast fashion and how it's connected to human trafficking, and how human trafficking is also connected to the abortion industry. So it's what I consider the human rights and justice trifecta. And so to help raise awareness for that, everything in Life Dress is hand painted using thrifted clothes, or like secondhand, not directly purchased from a fast fashion unethical source. So yeah, it's part of the mission, just to kind of spread information about that aspect of the abortion industry and how it actually comes together on a global level.
We should have you on to talk about that in a couple of months, once I have taken upon myself to be a little bit more better with where I shop. Fast fashion is a terrible thing. I will admit that. It's just, something we all have to work through.
Yeah. Well, thrifting is so fun though. So I feel like it's easy to convince people to be like, yo, just go thrifting. It's more fun anyways.
I don't think I've ever even been thrifting before. I think I've gone into a thrift store, but I've never bought anything from one. I think the last time I went was in DC with Melanie, actually.
Oh my goodness.
No memory
that
of
needs
that.
to change.
Yeah, I just wanted you to plug that in for another reason, another incentive why to support Life Dress. hand painted, unique, one of a kind, and it's, not supporting the fast fashion industry
Thank you, Melanie.
while
Appreciate
trying to abolish abortion.
it. Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
For me, nah, I'm good. I want to say thank you guys for having me
Yeah.
and for letting me talk about, my passions and stuff. Appreciate it.
Well, we are super glad you came on. Seriously, we'd love to have you on again. Yeah, I guess
Thank you.
that's it for this episode. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you follow Angelique, check out her website. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. And hopefully we'll see you at the March for Life. If you do see us, come say hi. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else to add. If we also have merch in our store available, really cute stuff you should all check out. And if you are like, you know what, now this is such a good show. I love what you're doing. Let me help. Head over to our website and click donate. That would help us the most. All right, everybody, have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.